There is a reason some field positions survived when others were erased, and it had nothing to do with better weapons or thicker camouflage. It came down to something older, quieter, and largely forgotten. Long before drones, satellites, or thermal cameras entered the battlefield, soldiers learned, often the hard way, that heat was more dangerous than sound or movement. Those who survived learned how to bury it. This knowledge never made it into manuals. It was passed between engineers, scouts, and men who spent enough nights freezing in the ground to understand what gave them away. When modern surveillance arrived decades later, the same principle quietly saved lives again. Not because it was new, but because physics never changed. The mistake people make today is assuming concealment evolved. It didn't. Detection did. Early reconnaissance units noticed something unsettling. A shelter could be perfectly hidden from sight and still betray itself. Snow would melt unevenly. Soil above dugouts would dry faster than the surrounding ground. In cold conditions, frost formed everywhere except one suspicious patch. The men inside learned that their bodies were advertising their position, whether they moved or not. What they rediscovered was simple. If heat never reaches the surface, nothing above can see you. The foundation of the cold roof began with depth and restraint. Soldiers stopped building upward. Tall shelters caught wind and cast shadows. Instead, they dug just enough space to exist. The earth itself became the first shield, not because it hid them, but because it absorbed and equalized temperature. Inside these shelters, experienced men began lining the walls with reflective material whenever they could get it. Early versions were improvised from polished metal, foil-lined packaging, even carefully scraped tin. The reflective surface always faced inward. This detail mattered. It was not for warmth. It was to turn the body's radiated heat back on itself before it could escape into the structure. This was the first layer of invisibility, though they didn't call it that. They simply knew that shelters built this way left less trace by morning. But reflection alone was not enough. When that inner lining touched the roof, the effect was lost. Heat conducted straight through contact and betrayed the position anyway. That led to the second lesson, one that modern builders still get wrong. Air, when trapped and unmoving, stops heat better than most materials. Veterans learned to leave a deliberate gap between the inner lining and the outer roof. No contact, no shortcuts. Even a small sag ruined the system. This dead air pocket became the invisible wall that stopped warmth from travelling outward. Above that gap came the final layer. Not insulation, but mass. Packed soil, sod, timber covered in earth. Thick enough that any stray warmth disappeared into it long before reaching the surface. This was the cold roof. From above it read as nothing more than undisturbed ground. The men who built these shelters noticed something important. A properly made position did not frost, melt or dry differently than its surroundings. It did not attract attention. It simply vanished. This principle quietly resurfaced whenever observation improved. In winter warfare, poorly built shelters created perfect outlines in snow. In deserts, shallow hides showed up as cold voids during the day and hot scars at night. Those who understood thermal mass and air separation adjusted accordingly, digging deeper and letting the earth do the work. Shape mattered too, though. Few really articulated it formally. Nature does not build squares. Any roof with straight edges or clean lines just looked wrong, even if it was, say, the right temperature. Veterans broke outlines deliberately, scattering debris unevenly and avoiding symmetry. The goal was never to look hidden. The goal was to look unremarkable. One of the most overlooked giveaways was breath. Warm air rising in cold conditions created visible plumes long before cameras existed. Soldiers learned to exhale through cloth, into earth or into brush. It was crude, but it worked. Heat dispersed instead of rising as a column. None of this was written down properly. It lived in field notes, in habits, in the quiet corrections older men made when younger ones built shelters wrong. As technology advanced, the lesson was forgotten again, replaced by gear and fabric and, well, false confidence. When drones arrived, the mistake repeated itself. People hid from eyes instead of sensors. The ones who survived relearned the same old truth. You cannot hide heat by covering it. You can only hide it by containing it, separating it, and letting the earth erase it. That is what the cold roof was always about. Not concealment, but erasure. If this forgotten method changed how you think about survival and observation, subscribe to the Wartime Frontlines and share this with someone who still believes camouflage is enough. The next lesson is already waiting in the past.